Are you searching for an answer for hot flashes? Have you been dabbling in maybe taking over the counter, maybe compounded hormonal replacement therapy? Maybe you've tried different diets. Maybe you're trying different herbs to overcome hot flashes. Well, I can tell you that of all of these different things, one of my biggest, I should say, topics of discussion of people who come in, women who come in with menopausal complaints, it is hot flashes and night sweats. And so that is what we're talking about today. And I can tell you that I've had much success, and it's kind of, I can't say it's a guaranteed success because I don't know exactly what every person is going to do. But I can tell you that with our physiology, with what the diet that we know that we are supposed to eat as women, as humans, and taking your body through a 3-step process will get you amazing results. Everybody has results. What is different is the timing and how much the hot flashes completely dissipate. Now, for me, they are 100% gone. For many patients, they are 100% gone. Some people do experience here and there, but they can be pinpointed back to the lifestyle that was 5 to 7 days prior. Now, that's kind of that is, I would say, something I can rely on, and I can confidently say that people experience positive success with doing these 3 steps. So let's get into what these 3 steps are and what you can expect when you start to follow a very, very proven system that I'm sure you will be very happy with, because I know hot flashes can be very embarrassing. They can, really sabotage the quality of life, especially if you're out and about and all of a sudden you feel the heat coming on and you're starting to kind of, move your body in a way that you're wiping the sweat away from your head or above your lip. And it can be very embarrassing. I get that. But stay with me through these 3 steps. We're going to learn how you can really improve the quality of your hormones and how you can start to, in these 3 steps, have better control over the whole endocrine system, because the endocrine system is responding to what you're doing, how you're living. So the 3 steps for hot flashes. Hot flashes, and this is, I'm going to go ahead and I'll just read it and then I'll tell you what I have to say about this. Herbs, they're not stopped by herbs or foods, drugs to prevent, or external band-aids. And what I mean by that is, people a lot of times will say, eat these foods and they'll heal your body. Take these herbs and that will heal something. Take these drugs, or do this type of therapy. And this is what I have to say about that. Yes, therapies can help. I use herbs and supplements in my practice, but they do not heal. The body is a self-healing organism. What foods and herbs do is they come in to help cells function properly. And when cells function properly, they go through a process, a brilliant, innate, intelligent process of healing, of reorganizing to its highest level of health. So it's not the food and it's not the herb, it's not the plant. What they're doing is coming in to change the environment to help the cell do what it is naturally programmed to do, but it's not doing it because of external ways of living, of ways of eating, of ways of being, thinking, emotionally and mentally. So it's kind of linguistics in a way. Those don't heal, but yet we use them, food and herbs, to help balance our bodies. But it's truly that they're coming in to help the cells do what they're supposed to do. And when you help a cell, you help organs and glands. And when you help organs and glands, you help systems. So just to make that clarification, because the body is brilliantly designed. It is a self healing organism. It's a new way of thinking. And the more that you start thinking along those lines, the more empowering it becomes that, okay, when I treat my cells right, when I live right, my body has a very, very, very high chance of reorganizing, of healing, that I can live into my 80s, my 90s, 100 years old, being independent and things functioning right because I've taken care of my body the right way. And that is giving it what it needs and getting out of the way. All right, so we can't just say, okay, I'm going to ingest a bunch of superfoods and a bunch of herbs and my body's going to heal. If you don't fix how you got there, if you don't go to the cause, then these problems are perpetually managed. And you don't want to manage it, right? You want this gone for good. So let's get into how we can do this. One of the things that I am another stickler about is no quick fixes. I love to get you comfortable. I want you to be comfortable as you're in the healing phase. But I'm not about, okay, do this hack. I've listened to that over the internet for some time now, people showing hacks. And really, the hack is a quick fix for not living right. And to me, it's like, let's live right. Let's do it right so our bodies are actually functioning at a high level and we're not having to go polar plunge. We're not having to do these things to counteract the inflammation, the wrong living, the wrong diet, and all the things that got us there to begin with. So yes, I'm about comfort and for doing smart things, but not about Band-Aids. So what happens when we get rid of hot flashes? What does that actually mean? That means that our endocrine system begins to balance out. And when that balances out, we have more energy. And not just energy because our bodies are functioning properly, but when we start to eliminate those hot flashes by how we go to the cause, we automatically have more energy because we're sleeping better, right? We have a full night's sleep. We're not waking up with night sweats. And so we have more energy throughout the day. We start to lose those unnecessary pounds that gather around the stomach, around the hips, and around the top of the thighs because of this imbalance of hormones. Our skin looks more hydrated. We don't have that ashy, dry skin that loses its elasticity. Our skin begins to glow, and it has really a texture much different than Botox, yes, can help with wrinkles and can relax the muscles. We can use frownies and different silicone patches to help our skin. We can even use some natural, healthy oils to put on our skin to make them look healthier and to be healthier. They're more hydrated. But it is that estrogen, that progesterone imbalance that we need to work with to get that glow that comes from having natural hormones being balanced. All right, I was switching slides here. Sorry about that. Then also, when we start to work with the endocrine system, we definitely get better sleep, not just with not having hot flashes or night sweats, but because our circadian rhythm is more in tune with the body naturally. And our moods are better. Our moods are better because we're sleeping better, but there's also I think, this is what I've seen, a more ability to manage stress, to manage stressors in our lives, to handle the emotions that are already within us. One of the reasons my practice had changed in 2012 is because I brought in biblical principles to begin balancing our heart, which is our mind and our emotions and our soul. So when we start to heal the heart through biblical principles, which are forever and ever, they never change, and they get to the heart of the matter with God's truth, that's what starts to heal the heart. Then that paired with learning how to live right and balancing the endocrine system, your moods are more stable and you experience much more joy, not just happiness from external things, but an inner joy. Yes, so that mood starts to balance out more. So bowel health, definitely a big part of what happens when we do this 3-step process I'm going to talk about, because our gut is definitely in communication with the brain, in communication with the hypothalamus and with the pituitary gland, and what chemicals are in this whole chemical soup, if you will. We have all of our glands communicating. They're sending messages, and then this gland will get the message from the receptor site, gets plugged in kind of like a key and a lock. It fits, and then it spits out something else, and it turns and goes to a different gland or to a different receptor site. And it's like this orchestration. And when the orchestration of all of the chemicals gets disrupted, either from diet or hormone disruptors, water, air, plastics, whatever the case may be, comes in and wrecks this communication, and then you have glands not functioning properly. And so then you have all of these symptoms that we just talked about. And so bowel health is definitely one of the things that needs to be improved because of its direct communication with the brain. And so that becomes part of the process as well. So one of the things, and this is what I started out with, is the quality of life, because you stop having those embarrassing perspiration, sweating, having to excuse yourself and pretend that maybe you're not getting hot, but you're going to kind of dabble here and there so no one notices that you are having a hot flash, and they can last 5 to 10 minutes. But I am telling you, when you start to do these 3 steps, that gets minimized from 5 minutes to 2 minutes. Then they're not so intense. Then you're not experiencing them through the night. Then you're not experiencing them on a day-to-day basis. Then you're not even experiencing them around certain parts of the cycle. You see, when you stop having your period, it's not that you don't have them anymore. It's just, it's not at a level that is producing menstruation. It's not at a level that is noticeable if you're healthy, endocrine system healthy. But when it's out of balance, that is when you start having menopausal symptoms, which really is just a natural stage of a woman's life. It's just gotten a bad rap from how we live, and so many people experiencing the I guess unhealthy, the annoying aspects of not having a healthy endocrine system. So no more hot flashes. Nina, one of my patients that we just got off the phone with, that's why it's in here, is no more hot flashes after the first 4 weeks in my program. And the reason I bring that up is because she had just finished a detox. And detoxification is it is a word thrown around the internet, but it's very specific. People use that term that shouldn't use it, because a true detoxification has requirements. And a lot of times the time frame, you're not going to detox in 7 days or 10 days. You can eat healthier, and that will have great benefits. That's wonderful. You're eating more vegetables, or you're having your lemon water, and you're doing these different things that are healthy, but they're not a true detox. A detox requires methyl groups. It requires a certain timing. It requires a certain amino acids. So after she finished the detox, then her hot flashes started to decrease rapidly until she has no hot flashes whatsoever. Myself, yes, I put myself in here because my story goes from, and this is going to be a quick one, I should do a whole video on this, but when I was eating raw and plant foods with a high level of health, there was one aspect of my health that stemmed back from my eating disorder days when I was more eating very, very low calories for years and years, and it caused problems within the endocrine system. And no one really told me, and no one really said this is what happened. However, when I got in chiropractic school and I had all of the testing available to me, and I started to learn about the physiology and about hormonal health and what hormones are doing and biochemistry and diet and all the things, regarding the system, I began to understand why I had like this hypoglycemic response in my body during times like I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but I started to experience hypoglycemic symptoms. I knew how to manage it, and I began managing it kind of second nature. I wasn't even thinking about it. I just knew when I ate certain things to jump on a treadmill or to do exercise, to bring that down. I knew what was going to cause it. I knew when I had to eat, and it was so second, third nature. I never even thought about it. However, there was a point where I was so healthy, raw food and plant food, and I'm back to that level of health. But there was a point where I thought I want to heal that, and it was based on, I got Prolon, which is intermittent fasting. It's a kit, and this was a decade ago. So Prolon is out there now more, but as a doctor, you get these things come across your desk, and you get to try things. So I went through this, and it's a 5-day intermittent fasting. But you do it through eating, but you're mimicking fasting. So by the third day, you're supposed to feel your worst, and by day 4 and 5, you're starting to feel better. Well, by day 3, I didn't feel that good. By day 4, I felt worse, and by day 5, I thought I was going to die, and I almost passed out getting up out of bed. And I knew something was wrong. So I started to do my research, anyways, went to the keto diet. A year into the keto diet, my body started to change. Now, I'm eating keto like extreme, as clean as you can get. Tons of vegetables. The only carbohydrates I were eating was a minimal fruit and a couple sweet potatoes here and there. But, I wasn't eating bacon or cheese or hamburgers. I was eating very clean fish periodically. I was eating it as clean as I could. Get into a year of keto, and all of a sudden, I'm playing tennis. I'm starting to get achy off the course. I'm starting to get PMS problems that I never had before. I'm starting to get periodical headaches, which I'd never had before. And I started to bloat. And then my skin, that was a big thing, because my skin started to change, and I was 51. So I thought, this is what happens if I'm 51. So my skin's going to look older. So something happened when I got out of bed one morning. God spoke to me, and for whatever you want to say about that, but very much intently, go back to what you were doing. And I know that he didn't say that specifically, but it was go raw food. So that day I went back to eating how I had been eating before I went to keto. And remember, I was healing a condition that wasn't really bothering me, but I had managed, and I just thought, why not? I know, get rid of this hypoglycemia. So I went back to the raw food diet, and by the third week, as I was detoxing, because I have detoxification standard process shakes that I drink as my lunch and things like that. So going back to a very clean eating diet, my tennis, coming off the court, I wasn't achy, didn't have hamstring tightness anymore. None of it. Had nothing to do with my stretching. Had everything to do with inflammation. No longer bloating. My skin started to return to a healthier state, the texture of my skin. No more tender breasts, no more PMS, no more headaches. And this, by the course of the second month, I had none of that. I had returned back to a level of health prior to the keto, and the hypoglycemia was no longer. So, did the keto heal the hypoglycemia? Yes, I could say that it did. So sometimes I'll have this little attitude about keto, and this whole video is not about that. I don't know if I'll even keep this in the video, but the point is, yes, the keto diet can have its helpful stint, but it's not a long-term diet. Back to the menopause and hot flashes, those can heal. I was having, which I didn't mention, night sweats periodically, but they were so odd and weird. Those went away when I was done with all of it. When I had done the detox, I'd eaten more plant-based, I was back on raw food, and not completely raw foodist. I'm not a perfect raw foodist at all, but I have a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables. 80-90% of my diet has been that for years and years. It's just when I was doing keto, I was eating more cooked food, and I was eating more fish and shrimp and some other, a little bit of cheese, but goat cheese, raw cheese, more nuts than normal. But anyways, coming back to the point is, My experience really proved to me that not only is it just specific endocrine, it's detoxification, which is leading me into the 3 steps. And you might say, you know what? I don't like these 3 steps, but the 3 steps work. And it's not just me. I have multiple patients of my own and through all the doctors that I've worked with that talk about hormone balancing and endocrine balancing based on eating the right foods. So, what is a realistic time for results like this? Well, when you're balancing the endocrine system, you have there. It's complex. And I remember when I started studying balancing female hormones, and I wanted to study with Dr. Janet Lang, just a phenomenal doctor in hormone balancing. You can look her up. I don't know if she's still practicing. This was probably about 12 years ago, maybe 12 to 15. I don't even know. I remember where I was in my practice and I was moving. So anyways, went to study with her, and I came home very fired up and wanting to help women and doing saliva testing back when saliva testing wasn't even that popular or even talked about. And it was difficult to do. And I say that not because of the testing, but because managing hormones is like, to me, chasing wild horses every day. It's not something that is I would say, very predictable amongst women. I mean, every woman is completely different, and it just took a lot to move the needle on people, on women, when I was doing it. And I about 2 years in, I was like, I wasn't enjoying it. I didn't know if I was that good at it, because I had the same mentality then that people have. I'm going to control this endocrine system and this situation, and that is going to get rid of the hot flashes. And now, knowing that when we go to heal cells, we're thinking, how can we get that cell to heal itself? I'm going to think about the cell. The cell is going to take care of the business of managing the endocrine system, because you take care of the cell, it takes care of the organs, it takes care of the systems. So it's a different mentality, no more treatment-based thinking, but helping the body heal itself. So had I known now, you know, back to my younger self, when I was trying to help people heal with their hormones, I would have had a much different a different experience with these women, and I probably would still be helping them balance hormones, because it is not as difficult as we think if we get out of the way of allowing the body to heal itself. So 2 to 4 months is, I think, very generous in helping women get rid of hot flashes. And so these are the things we're looking at. I'm not going into a big detail of education on this, but it's the hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal axis. These 3 areas are constantly talking to themselves, they're talking amongst themselves, and it has a lot to do with what your hot flashes, your temperature, your metabolic control, what is going on with that. So you have to correct that feedback and communication. And what you're doing when you do that is the hormones are balancing and your metabolism is improving. Now, I'm not saying I'm treating those things. I'm saying help the cells, and that's what they do. The cells begin to correct that feedback. So you're removing exogenous hormones. These are hormones that you get from the outside, and you're removing the waste byproducts of hormones. You're getting rid of the blockers, the hormone blockers and disruptors that we get into our system all the time from products, from air, water, food, all kinds of things that we would never think of, plastics that we drink out of, put our food in, even down to, believe it or not, taking the bags off your dry cleaning. The plastics on that can get on your clothing. It's incredible how these plastics get into our bodies and disrupt our hormones. So The detoxification phase is a must when you're starting to get rid of hot flashes. So detoxing correctly, like I said, it's not as simple. Well, it is simple. It's not as easy. It's not a 10-day let's just detox by eating celery or drinking celery juice. So we're creating healthy digestion as well. So we have a healthy gut because it's in communication with the brain. We get a healthy liver because that is such a big manufacturer of what our hormones are relying upon, and we're helping the metabolism of our body. So it's the HPA axis with our gut, with our liver, with all of the glands. This is how the endocrine system starts to balance. The second thing is we're eating the foods that help the cells heal themselves. This is just a natural part of any health condition, is that we have to feed ourselves the proper foods, and when we do that, it begins that self-healing process. So it's not, eat these 10 foods and you're going to heal your hot flashes. It is not that. It is move all the stuff out, eat right, so the cells, whichever cells need it, start to heal, which is another thing. If you remember Hippocrates, he said, let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. So if you eat an apple to be your medicine, you're not saying, all right, apple, you go heal that HPA axis. No, the body knows what to do with the apple to begin a healing process wherever it needs to go. Allow the body to do its brilliant work as it is designed to do. That's how God made it, for cells to heal themselves. So healthy cells naturally make healthier organs and help the healthy organs create healthier systems. And the third part of this process is the rejuvenation process. This is where we are cleansing out, then we're strengthening and helping the processes in the cells by living right, eating right, doing the right things for both elimination systems. And then the body begins rejuvenating, and we can sustain it if, this is if, we have a lifestyle that we can live. If it's something that you are managing closely, like I'm going to do my macros and I'm going to do my calories and I'm going to work out this much and you are massively controlling your life that way, that is not usually sustainable. If it is sustainable, there's a level of joy and flexibility taken out of your life, which to me takes away from the quality of your life. I'm about freedom. If you look at how I start talking about health physically, emotionally, and mentally, I'm talking about freedom. And then, like, if you think, wow, the Bible is about obedience and discipline, that doesn't sound like much freedom. No, it is freedom because it is such a pleasing way to live. It is such a wonderful way to live. You start eating the proper foods that you love, and because when you eat right, the taste buds change and you actually desire healthier foods. And then the more you desire and eat these healthier foods, the better you feel. And it's this cycle of the body healing itself. Add in biblical principles and you emotionally and mentally desire to please the Heavenly Father, just like you love your earthly father. Or if you don't, maybe somebody in your life that is older that you respect and you love. You're not looking at them saying, oh, I got to go visit them, and you don't want to and you dread it. You do it because you love them so much and they love you so much. And it is just this beautiful relationship that feeds your soul. That's what our Heavenly Father is for us. That's what Jesus does for us. That's what the Holy Spirit does in our heart. So when you're adding these things up of how to be healthy and victorious in your life, how to naturally heal hot flashes, it's going to be the same for what health condition you have, because it's not about treatment to come in and fix things, hammer, I'm fixing it. No, it is the body is designed to heal itself, but you have to go through some stages that are so I say simple. They're simple in the respect that we know they're there, we know what to do. Sometimes not so easy because they go up against some of our beliefs of what we want, what we desire. But the only reason we desire some crazy things like Doritos and whole cartons of ice cream is because we're out of balance. So, what happens is genetic weaknesses are revealed, and then those start to correct as you go through this three-stage process. You get a lifestyle that you can maintain, which takes tweaking sometimes. Remember, coming from an eating disorder years, I was like, perfection. I have to do this. It was as rigid could be. I mean, I had like a drill sergeant in my head all the time. Work out, eat, document. I mean, it was insane. And I had to, as I healed from that and came back, I mean, one of the things I noticed was the freedom I felt from not having that in my head to learning. Oh my gosh, especially when I entered chiropractic school and I learned so much about physiology and biochemistry and nutrition. It was like, I don't have to live like that. I don't have to be a perfection queen of food and just micromanaging everything I put in my mouth. But I have like this percentage way of eating. I can do some things that I really like, and then I have to do what I'm supposed to do right most of the time. And there's this nice balance. And the more I got in balance, the more the things that I thought were like treats weren't so much a treat anymore because my body was starting to be repulsed by it. Just like sin is in the heart. You're like, I want to listen to that music. That music is so good. And then you start learning more and you're reading God's word and the Holy Spirit starts working in you. All of a sudden, you're not wanting to hear that music anymore. You're kind of choosing something else by nature, by the whole nature of evolving as a human being, as you're okay, so I'm getting way off here, but what I'm saying is it is a nice, beautiful, natural process of getting a lifestyle that you love, that you can maintain. And the third thing is that the body's endocrine and digestive system starts coexisting together, and this helps the body begin healing. So these three things come about when you start to live right. And so this is how I've helped women stop hot flashes. We're eliminating the culprits, the blockers, the disruptors. We're getting them out of the body. We're eating for healthy cells. We're eating in a way that's for our bodies and what we're naturally supposed to eat. And we're creating that environment inside the body so the cells begin to balance and the cells begin to heal themselves. So what happens? What is the benefits, the side effects of doing that? You have more energy. You lose that unnecessary weight. Your skin is glowing and beautiful and the texture has changed and it's smoother and you don't have that ashy look anymore. You wake up refreshed with restful sleep. You have more of a balance in your mood and the joy in your heart. And your bowel health begins to be consistent, easy bowel movements, perfect poop, as I like to say. I mean, I talk about bowel movements. I've always talked about them. So to me, it's like talking about a fingernail. I don't look at it like, oh, I don't want to talk about that. Like, no, it's a very diagnostic in a way, because when you look in the stool and you see what's there, it gives you so much information and you know what's kind of going on in the digestive tract, which is extremely important to every single system in your body. So this is how I've helped women, and just to reiterate, what are the 3 steps? I wish I would have put that in here. Sorry, is that we are looking at getting rid of what is not supposed to be in the body, so the body can begin to heal itself. Then we're strengthening the body by feeding it what it's supposed to eat and taking care of those elimination systems. And then thirdly, we're allowing a lifestyle to kick in that supports this natural process in the body and the endocrine system finding balance. And it's not just quick overnight. One thing I don't do is someone said, and I hear this all the time, is just tell me what you eat and I'll do that. No, I don't like to give you a menu and say, eat this. I teach you how to fish. I don't give you a fish, because your diet, your body, your preferences are different than mine. And if you're eating my diet, that's not going to be suffice for you. Yes, there are natural laws you have to follow, and there's a diet that is recommended of guidelines, but your preferences need to be in that flow, because that will bring joy to you in a lifestyle that you can sustain and maintain for the rest of your life, and you can stay healthy. So that is truly how I do it. And so for people who are thinking, hey, I want to know more about this, I have some questions, I invite you to book a call down below. There is our few questions, and then I will get in contact with you. It is not a sales call. It is really a call to understand, help you understand maybe what could be blocking you, what you can do differently, how you can be healthy and victorious for the rest of your life. So I just want to say thank you so much for joining me. Sorry I went down some rabbit holes there, but it's just easy to do when you get excited about health and you want to help people, and everything you know just starts coming out. And so sorry about that, but I do enjoy health, and I love helping people who raise their hand and say, I want to be healthy. I want to be victorious in my life. I'm like, I'm there, and I'll meet you there. So thanks for joining me, and I will see you on the very next video. Bye for now.